People, deluded, I'm back again. Fridays equals Q&A day. Spoiler alert, I do this on a Thursday. Thank you very much for your questions. As you know, I typically give a 2 p.m. deadline on a Thursday. I've tried my best to include it. I can't lie, people. You lot, since I've been on the community tabs, putting it on YouTube and stuff, making it easier for you guys, the sheer volume of questions, you lot asking me 40 odd questions and stuff, so it's getting impossible for me to kind of include everyone. So please don't feel no sort of way, man, and them sort of things there, man. If I've missed you out because I feel your question necessarily has been repeated, or I've just missed you out, honestly, I apologize. It's not on purpose, man. As you lot know, I'm only one man. Only so many things I can do at the moment. But cracking on, let's just start, man. Wasting too much time waffling about jazz. Forgive me, bro, but I can't say your name, but Carsey Solomon, forgive me if I've mispronounced your name. I ain't even gonna try Mr. Solomon or Solomon. Hey, Deluded, I was wondering if you think that regardless of which defenders we sign, we'll still have issues, as the system we're currently implementing leaves our defenders isolated and vulnerable to counterattacks. Now, that's an interesting one, and I've spoken about it for many vids. You're right. You're correct. Not to praise Spurs, but I'd say what season was it? Spurs were unbeaten at White Hart Lane. Yeah, they were mad in defence. It didn't matter who was in defence. Three at the back, four at the back, five at the back. Toby there, whatever there, and to a degree the same things there now. To a degree, City have the same thing. So you're right in the sense that the system needs to be there. We've made some improvements, minimal at best defensively, but the system needs to be there. We need to understand what we do off the ball, what we do when the teammate, if I'm a fullback, what's going to happen if my centre half needs to go and engage? What space should I be in? Where should my teammate be? And the next level of that is sometimes being a bit smart. How many goals have we conceded, my guy, where the opposition scored on the edge of the area? Pedro yesterday, you had on the edge of the area, you had Cola, Torreira, and Monreal in the box. Now Monreal was unaware of the man, as you saw, but Torreira and Cola, Siad Kolasinac, if that's how you pronounce his name, they should be switched on and think, all right, let me get into that space, something's going to happen. So provoking that sort of instinct to think first collectively as a team. Obviously, defense starts with the attack. We've pressed well this season, but last night, what did you see against Chelsea? For the first half an hour, you saw it. Then we stopped pressing. It's about stopping things at the front. Look how Hazard created. What goal was it Hazard created where he dazzled past a couple of players? It was too easy. Defense starts from the front. So first and foremost, we need a system. Of course, we need better centre halves, but within reason, you could sign the most elite centre half in the world, and it's not going to improve. Van Dijk is obviously a level above the centre halves Liverpool had, and he's one of the best in the Prem and the world and all of them things. But if they weren't trying to improve as a team, he wouldn't make a difference. Liverpool have improved greatly defensively. You can see the game management by Klopp and the players from the top. They press and stuff, but they're not as gun-ho and stuff like that as they have been. You can see the system, the fullbacks, Trent and Robertson typically. If Milner's there, then him as well. But they typically, everybody understands what everybody needs to do on the football field and where everyone should be. So I wouldn't say it's a case of understanding the system, my guy. Before I carry on, like I said, you had Van Dijk, you had Alisson, but they were coming into an improving system and an increased ethos. So that is what we need to introduce. Within reason, you could sign the best centre half in the world and it won't make a difference. Within reason, yes, they will obviously show their quality, but the system needs to be there. We're going to continuously be crippled. You obviously add Alisson as a goalie into the defensive mix because it's a back five as well. With Liverpool, you could say Liverpool, and at times when they have conceded, it has cost them. A byproduct of how they play, their fullbacks are caught upfield. Now we know clearly they have a class or two above us in terms of fullbacks, but it's a system. People understand. Midfielders understand if the fullbacks are going, I need to work 10 times harder to cover wide areas. Because even our pivot, people don't understand how deep football goes. Our pivot don't cover wide areas good enough. We need to go back to basics. You remember he's made some improvements in terms of defending and attacking and defending set pieces, but we lost it in the league in the last few games, and we definitely lost it. We lost it on 24 hours ago, sadly against Chelsea. But that's what I'd have to say for your question, my guy, man. That was a good question, and I don't always tell you, but it takes a while to get adjusted to a vid, and that's one's obviously put me in game mode now. Like, I've just come off the train and all them thing there. I'm back in game mode. So shout out to your question. Jessica's asked, where do you think it went wrong for us this season? Where did it go right? Well, really and truly, it went wrong. Whatever period it was where we just come out of March and we started to lose games with the Watfords, well, dropping points against Watford, forgive me if I'm wrong, against Leicester, against Brighton and Palace, and obviously things like that. So that's where it went wrong. When we came out of that month where we got 4 points off United and Spurs, and we turned it around against Rennes, that's where it should have carried on. End of March to May is the last furlong. It's the last race. You've got to put up or shut up. You've just got to win games. That's where it went wrong. You could say, and some of us have said, it hasn't been perfect this season. Even when we was 22 games unbeaten, you could see possibly in terms of beyond the fact that our strikers and stuff are shadowing games. Are we doing the best defensively? Are we outscoring teams in the second half? Are we doing good tactics, or are the tactics really that good if we continuously have to change things at half time? I feel, especially with Arsenal, that people are too eager to pick a side. Everything's either going great, everything's either going poorly. Some people wanted a new manager so much they'll just support anything. Some people just want certain players to play. Well, you need to look at the bigger collective issue in which we've made some progress, but have we really, when you've been seeing them games? You look at Fulham and Cardiff, we scored great goals and great team moves. Ramsey's goal against Fulham away, for instance, is up there for goal of the season. But if you remember that game, I think we won it 5-1. If you actually remember, we went a goal behind against Fulham and we had to come back. And there were several incidences like that. Like you see in football, it's like life. When everything's going well, it's going great. You're scoring goals you possibly wouldn't have. You're getting luck in the sense that you get that one last opportunity in 90th minute and you pull it in the back of the net. But when it's all going wrong, like you saw in the league, in the last few league fixtures, and obviously to a degree on 24 hours ago, it goes poorly. So you can ask, where did it go right, essentially, to be honest, because I think people got a false sense of security to a degree. I think we've done well at many times this season, but ultimately, yeah, man, it's more of the same, to be honest, to answer your question. So thank you very much for your question. Josh has asked 5 players we should go for with our Europa League budget. I can't lie, Josh, at the top of my head, I don't know, man. I answer these questions all the time. Calvin Steggs, he's had some injuries. I would like to see Benassia come back to the club. I've seen us link with Upamecano. I'd like to see us really go for that. To be fair with you, Canute the same, if we can structure payments. I don't know, my guy, man. I don't know, man. No disrespect, but the transfer questions are getting exhausted to a fair degree. Leo's asked, how much of Wednesday night was down to Kroenke? Well, to be honest, he's not the manager and he's not the players. He's neither one, so it's not really his fault as to why we immediately lost that game yesterday. The issue obviously comes is that you look at Liverpool, yes, they've got Klopp, but you see the backdrop of things. You look at City, you look at several other examples. The winning mentality starts from the top up, and I'm not going to comment on things I don't know, but there's been one common variable in that Arsenal are continuously getting worse and worse, essentially, and it doesn't. You look to the left, you look to the right, you don't see Stan Kroenke in the same way you used to see Abramovich. Yes, you saw his son at the Europa League, but if the owner of your football club can't make it to watch his own investment that he's made a lot of money on and watch his own team play in a cup final, especially the man that you've employed, is his first cup competition in his first season as manager. If you don't come there, what is that telling you? Yes, again, his son was there, but again, I don't know. If I saw Liverpool owners, if they walk past me in the street, I won't know who it is, but you can bet some sort of people them are going to be at the Champions League final. Do you see what I'm saying? Someone is going to be there. People are always at them Liverpool games when Sky Sports is flashing. You see the FSG, forgive me, Scouse fans, because I need you lot to pattern on Saturday. Actually, 24 hours after this video will come out. But yeah, so yeah, there's that, my guy. Omar's asked, where do we go from here, Deluded? It is what it is, man. Strip the squad bare. What can be stripped for spare parts, move forward, man. My expectations are on the ground. I prefer to just move forward with the young players. Yes, they will probably get battered at times, but if we can bring in a couple experienced heads and persist with the 1 or 2 experienced players currently here that are good enough, then I'm prepared to just take a rebuild and accept it is what it is. Because personally, if we start playing young players, I'm sure most logical fans are they're not gonna even dream of how we found ourselves this season, dreaming of the Champions League because of certain circumstances. Apologies for the sun, people. Let me come back, man. When I'm on there, the sun just starting to come and mess up people's things. But yeah, I'm back. Apologies. So hopefully the answer's your thing. BM's asked, Have we regressed to the point where Spurs are a bigger club than us now? The bigger club thing is debatable. Obviously, there's a lot of bias in me, but in terms of forward thinking, in terms of a place to be, it's definitely not Arsenal, and there's no way around it. Spurs are a more attractive proposition at the moment. Yes, they haven't won trophies. Again, I hope I can say that on Saturday, but at the end of the day, Poch is doing his thing. The players are doing their thing. Yes, they're probably a tiny bit disappointed in terms of the league campaign because people were saying mad stuff about Chelsea and they finished behind them. But it's the place to be. If Levy wakes up one day and gives Poch some serious money, I'd listen. I wouldn't even say I'm scared because I am already shook. But serious things could happen. And to be honest, obviously, bias aside, if it comes down to Arsenal Spurs previous years, when we had P's and that, the players are going to pick Arsenal. If I'm a player now and I'm of a suitable level, I'm going to consider Arsenal and it's going to be close. But I'm seriously listening to what Spurs, Pochettino have to say. Obviously, Emery's just coming and doing his thing. But it would go either way for me, people. And I'm an Arsenal fan. If I was me, a professional footballer, the way I am right now, as much as I love Arsenal, I would seriously consider playing on the Poch. Not because Unai Emery is a bad manager or all of these things, but Poch has got a certain way of doing things. Yes, he's working under some financial problems himself, but there's a working way. At Arsenal, away from Unai Emery, you're looking at the backdrop of things, the mentality from above. Do you really want to be a part of the toxic stuff? If I was Lacazette 3 years ago, obviously you didn't know that this would happen, but would I necessarily have wanted to go and play for Arsenal knowing that, away from my love for the club, that they're going to be in the Europa League and finding himself in the position he is now where he's in his peak years and he's not playing in the top European competition? Deschamps clearly doesn't favour him. His performance and Giroud scoring did him no favours in that final. And you've got Euro 2020 next year. He turned what? Lacazette turned 28 on the Tuesday. That's his peak years, people. He's got what, 4 good years left, or even more than that. But I'd say 4 good years, and he's going to spend one of them the next year playing in Europa. At least if he was playing in Champs and putting in them performances he did against Valencia in the Champs, the Champs might have to say, yo, listen. Obviously, Griezmann was playing in the Europa League, and I ain't got no examples, but I'm sure there's other French players that have played in the Europa League. So many of you that are sensible get the point I'm making with that, but. It is what it is, my guy, man. I'm going really in depth with a lot of these questions, man. Sorry, man. I wish you lot could pause me. David asks, do you think Emery is at fault for the awful defensive display, or is it more down to the players? Obviously, I watched the game again. You could say we was getting overloaded down our right, Chelsea's left. Tactically, he could have set us up better, and some people might look at the formation. Personally, I was cool with 3 at the back, and the first half an hour, we played well. I think, not Poch. Unai Emery, he gave the tactic. He can only do so much. He's clearly given the tactics because they listened in the first half an hour when he was playing all right. He can do the team huddles and all them things you saw before the games. But at the end of the day, he's not the man playing. I think Unai Emery hasn't been perfect this season, but I cannot blame him for that final. I can't. I have to look at the players, people. It's the players. I'm sorry, my guy, but all of them players, I couldn't. You lot know I love a lot of them players in that side, and I'm never one to get excited. But I couldn't even look at them man there in their face right now. I can't look at them, car. I don't feel there's too many of you, if any, and the ones that were decent did make mistakes that can really hold your head high at this moment. I don't want them to feel sorry for themselves because those of you that are here, pre-season's gonna be. If it was me, it'd be a tough one. So you would have no time to feel sorry for yourself. It's sink or swim. You feel sorry for yourself, you're out the door. But serious self-reflection, Carl. When these players, they're professional athletes, some of the most self-reflecting individuals on the planet, people. They know they played poorly, and I don't feel every human is honest, but those few players in that team that are critically honest with themselves, are very honest with themselves, and they're looking at their performances and their all-round conduct this season on the field and how we've played, they can't be happy with themselves. And if you're happy with yourselves, I shouldn't be deluded, to be fair with you. You see what I'm saying? But moving forward, my G, man, thank you for your question, David. Lions asks, is it time for Arsenal to focus on bringing Premier League proven players that know the league and the history of the badge? To be honest, my guy, the history of the badge, all of that sort of stuff, it's all valid and relevant, but at the same time, players, you shouldn't even if you didn't know anything about Arsenal Football Club, you should look at it and see, or whatever, or United or whatever, just because they're not in the Europa League. They're playing Premier League, they're top 6 clubs. I can put my name in limelights if I just play well and consistent. If you do that, then obviously I want players to love the badge and that, but within reason, I don't quite frankly care, innit? If you're putting in, whatever reason you're putting in a good performance. And to answer your question about Premier League proven, I hear you, I definitely agree with you, but what normally comes with them players, when I hear that, I think of Ruben Neves, I think of Zaha. I think of, to a degree, Chilwell. I think of Davy Brooks to a degree, Maddison to a degree, Harry Maguire to a degree. Obviously, Kante was a deal when he was at Leicester, and there's obviously Telemans now. There's obviously he ain't been there too long, but when you hear them sort of names, my guy, what does normally follow with them thing there? The fees. If we ain't got money, how the hell we gonna sign them players there? 'Cause I would love Neves, for example. He wouldn't come to Arsenal. That's around 50, maybe even 60 million. If I was United, I don't understand why they're not trying to chat to their Portuguese fellow countrymen and Nuno at there, man, and getting people to do things for them, man. Mendes got links to both them clubs, so he really is a good player. But moving on, Reeks has asked, from a footballing mindset, what do you think of the correlation of centre mids converting into right backs has come from? Lauren, Trent Arnold, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Jan Bissaka. That's a good one. I think I don't have the answer, but yeah, my guy. Yeah, you look at, fair enough, it didn't work for Callum Chambers, but you could say him too. Didn't Gerrard, it was before my time slightly, but didn't Gerrard put in a shift at right back a couple games? It happens, and I wouldn't actually know, but typically a lot of centre mids just turn into right backs and get spots in the team and stuff, and it's weird, man, because you have strong runners with the ball. I swear Jan Bissaka was a winger though, my guy. Not a centre mid, but it's a good question. I don't know, but I definitely see that correlation. I was a right back, but I wasn't no centre mid, but let's just throw my name in there as well, GG. Moving forward though, Janjan's asked, do you buy into this agenda? We don't want to be an oil club like City. We want to do things the Arsenal way. I want to always do things the Arsenal way, but right now I just want to win stuff and have a peaceful night knowing my football club can do things. So for any rich Russian oil guard or Arab oil guard or any rich entrepreneur in America that actually wants to do this football thing, come to the club, man. Let's try and make this something happen, man. And obviously Kroenke's never going to bust out, but DG can dream. DG can dream. Oh, this is why you shouldn't rant with technology. Ayo's asked, which players do you keep from yesterday's starting lineup? Top of my head, Torreira, Maitland-Niles, even though he made them mistakes. Controversial, but Xhaka. Be a squad player, wouldn't play as much, but Xhaka. Who else was there? Like, I'm so rattled. Obviously, the two strikers. Yeah, Ozil's a unique case. I don't even want to. She's a very unique one, but probably keep him. We can't, purely because he doesn't want to leave. Clearly, him and Emery are beefing. He doesn't want to leave. No one wants to buy him. What can you do? You might as well use the man now. Possibly try and move on Mkhitaryan. I don't know why, but I think Mkhitaryan will just have more offers. I don't know why. It might be open to busting out more and stuff. I really don't know, man. Ozil, not that the front three covered themselves with any glory. Socrates, probably missing 1-2 out, but that's probably about it, to be fair with you, my G. The username's gone, but someone's asked, do you think Joe Willis' performance at the final will help or hurt his Arsenal career? Well, I think first and foremost, Willock, if he doesn't know already, which he probably does because he's in a footballing family and he strikes me as a man raised with good values, fans can be fickle. Fans are gassing him and hailing him up now, and they do occasionally in the Europa League. But do you remember him against Benfica or so in the Emirates Cup when fans were getting onto him, or against Newcastle? So he just got to really listen to his manager, look at himself, what he needs to improve and cut out the noise, really. But it should definitely give him some confidence because, I mean, yeah, he only had a cameo when they lost and stuff, but he should be confident with how he kind of tried to put himself about and stuff. It's going to be a big next season for him anyways, whether it's here or elsewhere, because I believe him, and happy birthday to Eddie Nketiah, who turns 20 at the time making this vid, can't afford to be playing 23s next year, so it's not gonna develop them in any way. Need to be tested. So if it can be done here or on loan, or you never know, even permanently, but they need to be playing first team football at some capacity. They can't be doing this apologies next season. Who else? We got some other questions. Diabolical's asked, sorry my guy, who do you think will win the up and coming European Championships? I think Spain got a decent team, but who knows, man? Who knows? Good question, though. Username's not showing up, but it says, how can you not justify sacking Unai Emery after this season? Because it's, I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't sack him, but I believe in listening to his opinions, and in terms of how we capitulated in the top 4 race and the performance in the Europa League. Ultimately, these things fall at the manager's head. But for me, Emery, yes, he's the manager, so he can find what he could have done better, but the players have let us down time and time again. So he deserves a next season. He'll be judged a bit harsher next season, but he deserves a next season, man. You can't. Can you really do, man? You can't. Well, what can you do, man? You can't. Like he's been given lemonade and told it's Kvaratskhelia and that. Like, what can he do really? Like, can't do nothing. Rachel's asked, with the lack of our budget, where will we finish next season? Same old. Target 5th or 6th, hope for 4th, but it'll be 5th and 6th. Because if no suitable investment or the club ain't going to improve the players, then how can you expect any different? If the mentality improves and we get consistency and can play away games, then yeah, you can get you. This squad could have got top 4 this season, and we could perform a bit better next season. But more of the same, and to be honest, in a couple of years with the money Newcastle might be getting with that takeover reports and what Wolves are trying to do as a football club, boy, we might forget top 4, top 6. It might be a top 10 thing if we don't get our acts together. But I don't know if it'll have cry at that one, but it is what it is. Glenn's asked, if we found a buyer, would you sell Ozil? I've jumped off his bandwagon with that disappearing act yesterday. I'd sell it. There's not one player really and truly that I believe is unsellable at this football club. It really and truly, there's some. Do you know what? The only player I probably wouldn't let go, at least for now, Torreira. I think one day will go, but probably Torreira. My guy Rob Holding, like Nelson as well. Cause I just got biased towards them too, but Rob Holding, everyone, and even all these players got prices. Everyone else can go for the right price. Of course, I love the strikers. Of course, I'm a fan of Ozil. I likes to play football, but nobody is playing to the standard that deserves or warrants unsellable. Like, there's nobody in this team can't be sold for the right price. If we can find buyers similar to what I said, then why not, man? I'm open to keeping Ozil. I'm open to selling Ozil. There's not one player that I'll bat an eyelid if they go in the summer, because yeah, man, like they fried me this season, man. Abby's asked, next season are we going to have a poor season? God knows, I hope not. Santi Magic asks, is Marcus Thuram for 10 million or Fraser for 20? I think Marcus Thuram probably got. For me, I'm not really convinced yet. I think he's a good player, but not really convinced. He's the cheaper option, so I'll say him, to be fair. I think that's all the questions. Wait, usernames key. Why is it doing this? Usernames are. There's another question. I don't know who's asked this. Shout out to you. Sorry, my guy. With the lack of style and progression in our offensive play and clear issues defensively, have we even improved from last season? In my opinion, we've got worse. This is why I tell people the beauty of opinions. I think we've improved by many aspects. I think we've got worse / made no improvements by many aspects. We've got a long way to go. This is why you can't pick a side and be pro this and anti that. You need to look at it all, because there's many statistics and stuff that can say we've improved defensively. For instance, I've said it in this vid. I feel set pieces, offensive and defensive, we've played well in that. But we're still conceding clean sheets. Clean sheets away from home still escape us. Like I said, there's many negative and positive clean sheets. Again, offensive play. You've seen the goals we've scored. I'm so sure there's statistics that show we're more clinical. But by the same logic, are we shooting enough? I don't think we are, personally. That's my opinion. And I feel the amount of goals we've scored this season cloud it. Look at the Champions League. God knows, I wish I was in another Champions League. Europa League final. 2 shots on target from 8. That's a regular theme. You can say we're mad clinical because we take the lead shots and all them thing there, but it's there. Lack of style deserts us. First, personally, I'd like to see just being able to defend outnumbered, defend out wide positions, defend from the front, defend competently in all aspects, way before I talk about style of play, my guy. But definitely agreed. It's wait and see mode. The amount of players that need to be brought in, moved on, players that can stay here and young players developed and stuff like that, and way of playing and all these things, it's going to take a while. So we can make opinions, but this is why people shouldn't take strongholds and all of these sort of things. But that's the way humans are and nature is. On that note, I'm going to keep it moving. People, thank you for the Q&A. Deluded, I'm out. It's been a long one.